Thanks for turning out to the Fleet Block. In 1924, just over 100 years ago, Salt Lake City acquired this property. And since then, the purpose that we've used it for has changed quite frequently. It has been a sign-making shop for the city. It was an asphalt plant. It was a material testing laboratory. And then, of course, it became the space for our fleet operations and storage. But in 2009, when the city moved its fleet off of this site, the property was left vacant and contaminated. And when I took office as mayor more than a decade later, it was still sitting stagnant and nothing had changed. And at my very first State of the City address in the beginning of 2020, I promised Salt Lakers that change was coming here at the Fleet Block. But what I couldn't foresee was that very same year also brought a nationwide movement for social justice reform, and with it, the appearance of murals on our Fleet Block's deserted buildings. Out of respect for the families and those depicted, and the larger advocacy movement that so many of us in the community were a part of, we extended the redevelopment timeline that we had earlier foreseen on this block, because we knew that there was work to be done and that this was not the kind of work that we could rush. In the years that followed, Salt Lake City worked closely with loved ones, therapists, and professional facilitators to try to listen and heal. We also formed the Commission on Racial Equity and Policing, which brought landmark change to our police department. Most notably, we diversified our emergency response by hiring dozens of social workers, victim advocates, youth specialists, and other civil response team members for the police department. And I am deeply grateful for the positive change that has come from so many community conversations and their hard work with us at the city. But through it all, I never forgot the promise that I made at that State of the City. It's been my commitment from day one as mayor to unlock city properties that have sat stagnant and create community benefit. This block is an 8-acre step forward toward that goal. It's really rare for a city to have an opportunity like this one, with almost an entire city block ready to be built from the ground up, especially in Utah, where our blocks are particularly giant. In fact, this is such a large site that we are planning 3 separate projects here. On the southeast corner, here will be a new public open space right along the 9 line, and now a brand new protected bike path that's recently been constructed on 300 West that connects all the way north to Pioneer Park. The survey for that portion of the block is open until the end of the month, so if you have any opinions on it and you haven't taken it yet, I encourage you to do so. But today we're here to talk about what's happening on the 2 northern corners of this block. Earlier this year, we requested for qualifications. We issued a request for qualifications, and we received really incredible responses from all over the country. Our selection committee included both city staff and community members, and they were able to choose the very best proposals. Today, I am proud to announce that Bryn Shore Development was chosen for Site A, which is the northwest corner, and Mercy Housing was chosen for Site B, the northeast corner. If those names sound familiar to you, it's for good reason. Bryn Shore is already a trusted partner right here in our city, and they've led projects like the Astor, Downtown, and Spark on North Temple, which we just did the ribbon cutting for in May. Both of these projects include designated affordable units and thoughtful amenities for their residents. And a big shout out to our neighborhood house community partners. We've never done a daycare facility in one of our housing developments, and we're so happy that you've extended there. Spark's on-site childcare center is operated there, and there's dozens of family-sized units in the Spark development. And then Mercy Housing is one of the nation's largest nonprofit builders, specializing in affordable low-income housing. This project will be their second in Utah, and they are partnering with some incredible organizations along the way, and you'll hear more from them shortly. These developers have proven that they know how to build community-focused development that works for families. And I'm so excited to see them being able to do that right here on our fleet block. These developments are also going to bring something new to Salt Lake City. Not new because we already developed it, but we've never seen it hit the ground in a development, and that's our very first community benefits agreement. That means that the people who live here and work here will be in the driver's seat deciding what future features and amenities they want to see in these developments. That could be more public art, better lighting, or space for local small businesses. The point is that it's going to be shaped by the people who know this neighborhood best. And no matter what amenities come into the area, one certainty of this project is that it will be easier to get around, because we'll be adding mid-block streets in both directions, north and south, that allow cars and people walking and bikes and strollers and dog walkers to access the inside of the block. That's going to allow for a safer and more direct connection through and within the different spaces that will soon replace this long, empty, and vacant lot. Because right now, this lot is a barrier between beautiful neighborhoods, but soon it's going to be a bridge. It's going to be alive with affordable homes, welcoming green space and public art that honors its history as a space where social justice matters. Huge thanks to our city teams who have worked literally for years to bring this next step to fruition. Our community and neighborhoods team, the transportation division, our public lands team, and the Arts Council. And an extra special thank you to everybody in the community who has shared their hopes and dreams and visions for this block. We've been listening and we're ready to build with you. I can't wait for the ribbon cuttings ahead, and I'm going to turn the time now over to our wonderful Salt Lake City Council member for this district, Darren Mono.
I hate following the mayor, but I'm Darren Mono. I'm actually here in two roles. I am the city council member that represents this district, but I'm also on the Housing Authority Board of Commissioners, which is a partner with Brinshore. So thank you. And as I thought about what I wanted to say today, I reflected on the history of the Fleet Block, at least my personal history. This is not the first time I've been here to the Fleet Block. This is not the first time the city has tried to redevelop the Fleet Block. In fact, I looked back in my emails and I saw that the first time I was here was 2012. And that was obviously a previous mayor's administration. And I was here in my capacity as an architect with a whole bunch of other architects and contractors and home builders, hoping at that point to be part of the redevelopment. And that, of course, did not happen. And the mayor talked through a lot of the things that happened, even in her administration. But it's very exciting to be here today. If I put on my urban design architect hat and I think about what that means that it has taken us this long, I actually think there are some really really good benefits and positive things that have come from us taking a little bit more time before this redevelopment happens. Back then in 2012, it was looked at as the catalyst for this neighborhood. But if you look around us now, Central Ninth has blossomed. The Granary District is blossoming, and we have quite a few really fantastic developments around here. So this no longer is the catalyst that's going to start redevelopment in this part of our city. And because of that, I think we can do more. In 2012, there was never considered a multiple acre public open space. And that's something that I think, because we were able to take some time on it and because of those social justice connection that started to happen during 2020, we're able to take a step back and say, what more can we do with this property than maybe we would have wanted to or tried to do back then? So you can argue that it would have been better for the city if this was the catalyst and things might have happened, but I'm really excited that we're here today to be able to do more on this publicly owned asset than what I think any previous administration or any previous attempt to redevelop the Fleet Block has even imagined. So I'm very excited to be here, and I'm excited for Mercy Housing, Brinshore Development, and of course the Salt Lake Housing Authority to be working on this significant piece of our city, and I can't wait to see what happens in the future and to be part of the community that's here both people living here, but also people that will come here to recreate, to have great food, and to work in this mixed use community. So I'm excited for that, and I think David is next, right? Oh, Shelley.
Good morning, everyone. First of all, let me just start off by saying what a thrill it is to be here at this very special day of an announcement on the Fleet Block development. My name is Shelley Marquez, and I'm the president of Mercy Housing Mountain Plains. I'm going to give you a little overview of Mercy Housing and then talk about the partners that will be working with us on Site B. So Mercy Housing is a national nonprofit affordable housing developer. We operate in about 21 different states. We provide housing to families, seniors, and people with special needs. We serve income levels anywhere from 30 to 60%, and then some workforce income levels as well. We develop, I always say, our three-prong approach. We develop affordable housing, we provide resident services, and we manage our properties. And why that is important is because when you think about our work and when you go to a property, we have a site team there that is working closely with residents to not only make sure that they're housed, but that they're thriving in their environment with wraparound programs, services that we provide on site. So when we think about Fleet Block and our work here, we're very excited to be able to work with the Habitat for Humanity of Greater Salt Lake, Corinne Crow, and her team. When we think about this particular development, not only are we looking at affordable housing, but you think about that upward mobility opportunity for residents, they'll be able to think about home ownership at this site. So we're bringing affordable housing development, home ownership, and then our other partner is YMCA, and it's Richard West of YMCA. So when we think about communities and how do you ensure that communities are thriving, a lot of our work is what are the needs in those communities. And working with the YMCA, we're looking at bringing youth programming to the site. We're looking at how we can address childcare needs in partnership. And again, this development it's evolving, so we'll continue to work with our partners at Brinshore to understand how do we ensure that we're listening to the community and we're addressing needs. I would say Mercy Housing's approach, and has always been, is when we go into communities, we don't just develop. We take time to do a community engagement. And as that has been shared by the mayor, is, that's an important process in our work, is the community engagement. And there's a number of iterations of that. And so that'll be an important part of this work, understanding the past, honoring that, and also looking at how do we address the many needs within this development. So for Mercy Housing, health and housing is very important. And when you think about this site, it is addressing many of the social determinants of health. Residents will have access to transportation. They'll have housing first and foremost. But then beyond that, it is access to childcare, access to food, so many other resources. So for Mercy Housing, we're really excited to be able to be part of the development and partnering with the city. Mayor, for your commitment, we applaud your leadership, but the many partners that are in here with us today, we just want to say thank you. And special thanks to our Habitat for Humanity team and YMCA. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm David Brint with Brinshore. I came to Salt Lake City the first time about 10 or 11 years ago, and the first place that someone took me to was Fisher Brewing. I spent a long evening there enjoying myself in this neighborhood, and it's ironic that we're coming back to make a contribution to the neighborhood. I really have come to love Salt Lake City, and those of us at Brinshore have made a strong commitment to make contributions to neighborhoods and community. And as a result, our team is based in Salt Lake. Our partner, Dan Ackerman from the Housing Authority of Salt Lake City, is become a good friend and co-developer. Neighborhood House is a partner of ours and has put childcare in our Spark project, and we'll continue to work with them, we hope, on all of our projects. And Utera Commercial is a consultant with us who really understands the marketplace and what commercial needs are in the neighborhood, and has already provided us with many opportunities of things to suggest to the community that they might enjoy. Really simple. It's always good to go last because everything's been said. But one thing that I love about this city is that there's vision, and there is resourcefulness, and there's commitment, and that comes from leadership. And I must admit that this is one mayor that really leads a city, and it's a pleasure to be involved with a community that has leadership and has vision and is willing to look at something and say, this needs to change, and can be positive change, and we're going to put our resources behind it. So we are excited to be part of this process. We're grateful that we were selected, and we promise to do a really good job. Thank you.
We're happy to take a couple questions, and I know our speakers are willing to do one-on-ones with any of the media. Is there any question that somebody wants to ask at this juncture? When does it start? I should ask Shelley and David to talk about that.
Well, with any affordable housing, the timing, there's always the expectation, okay, we've got this press release, do we start breaking ground? Really, there's a lot of community engagement that will happen. So over the next year, we'll focus on entitlement, engaging the community, developing community benefits agreement. But we'd like to start, and then you have to apply for tax credits. And so to set the expectation, it could be fourth quarter of 2026, first quarter of 2027. But we want to be very thoughtful in our approach and make sure that we've got the right partners at the table, and we've engaged the community in a way that is meaningful, that they felt like they've been heard, and that we're developing a community benefits agreement that meets the needs for all partners involved.
So having done this now for 30 years, my answer is whatever I tell you, add a lot of time to it. Okay, it takes a long time, and I hope everybody will be patient. It's particularly important in this neighborhood to make sure that we spend a lot of time in the community, get a lot of feedback. I think the city's made a commitment to having the community benefits agreement, and that's not easy. We've done it in many other communities. It takes time for people that have strong opinions to interact with and to try to adapt and make accommodations. So I'm reticent to give you a date. A lot of it depends on what resources we will need and how they'll be available. But we're starting work now, right away, and we will be involved in the community, and you'll hear about the work that both of our organizations are doing in the community. And as soon as we can give you a closing date and start for construction, we'll do that. Okay.
And I want to mention that the two projects that Bryn Shore has done with us in the city, the Astor on State Street downtown and the Spark that we just opened in the spring on North Temple, were really complicated projects. Astor was, the city literally bought the project, the property on the courthouse steps at auction, and it was complicated. There was structures on it that weren't working, and Bryn Shore as well on the North Temple project, we bought the community redevelopment agency at the time bought that as a motel that still had tenants in it, and we operated with tenants in there until they began construction, helped place them into other housing, and then Bryn Shore built that through a pandemic with a lot of different construction challenges. So I have great confidence that no matter what the challenge is, whether it's getting the financing and the affordable housing incentives or any other unexpected things, that these are developers who know how to navigate complicated projects, and we're going to have a project done. One more question, and then we're happy to break off. Okay, we'll just, Phoenix. She asked if there's a plan to honor the individuals whose portraits were on the buildings in the green space. I know we have Arts Council folks here and community and neighborhoods, so that community engagement that is happening with the families and the community members who are most closely tied to individuals depicted on those murals, and the broader community, they are all being involved in the development of what will be an arts RFP, a request for proposals for artists in the community to create depictions and installations. What the artists will bring up, we're anxious to see, but I know that will be part of the input that the community is giving and that the artists receive.